don't ever create for other people. Success for me as an artist is the fact that I can create what I want. If you commission me, if you tell me I want you to use this color and this and that, I'm gonna tell you, no, I'm good. The only thing we agree on is the image. People who send me money, they send me good money and they say, hey man, I want a Kobe piece, do your thing.
So knowing that when you put those initials in that bottom right corner, that was your creativity, that was your inspiration, that came through that brush and ended up on that canvas.
It's the best thing that I can go back to the studio tonight and just create some badass stuff, post it, and people will buy it.
Well, man, today I've got somebody who I've respected and admired for the last 5 years in the Houston community. I'm excited today to have my buddy, hopefully after today I could say my good friend, but Israel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Famed Houston artist and muralist, man. Welcome to the podcast,
Thank
bro.
You, bro. Thank
Excellent, you. Man. Well, I'm going to jump right into it. What first drew you to pop art in particular, and how did you end up knowing that it was your calling?
I mean, it took a little bit. I mean, you know how we kind of just talked about, I've always, especially in the beginning, I was trying to figure out a style. You know, I wasn't really sure if I needed to have a style. In the very beginning, I didn't think it was that important. Later down the line, like now that I have one, it's very, I don't want to say there's a right or wrong. I just know that me personally, how I want to represent myself and be noticed is that way. I used to always want to fit in, and now I don't want to fit in.
Interesting. You took a complete 180 on that one, bro.
Yeah. So it's something that I want someone to see my work and know that it's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know, back in the day, I always wanted to just blend in with everyone, and now I want to be the guy that doesn't at all.
Excellent.
You know, so it's something that I kind of take from pieces and, you know, from different artists, you know, how they say, like, you know, just using different, I don't know, just kind of like taking little ideas from everyone and just making it my own. So it's been there. It just, I had to figure it out.
Well, I can tell you, man, whenever I see a piece of art, because you're all over the city of Houston, right? Not to mention the individual commission pieces that you do, but I can tell that it's you. Right. Maybe it's the brushstrokes. Maybe it's the color scheme. Right. Maybe it's, integrating pop culture into visual art. Right. But you're a risk taker. You're obviously an inspiration. And, I'm happy to say that I'm a proud owner of several pieces.
Yeah.
Used to just be prints, but now we've got an original.
Yeah,
awesome,
sure.
man. Thank you. Well, can you share a time about when you faced maybe criticism from the art world and how did you deal with it?
One specific thing that just comes to mind immediately is using a projector. So that's
tracing.
So that is something that can kind of be frowned upon.
Yep.
In the very beginning stages, whenever I was first painting, when I first started, I did the whole grid thing. You know, I would basically do what you're supposed to do whenever you're supposed to draw something, like in terms of the art world.
Yeah.
And then I started to become more busy, and a good friend of mine who I look up to a lot, very successful guy, his name's Frankie. He just told me, he was like, man, look, man, like time is money. You know what I mean? We're doing bigger projects now. You know, these tools are here for us to use. Whether someone considers you a real artist or not, you know, that's something that you either have to like believe, I guess, or not. And so, you know, if you let all this shit get to your head, it's eventually, it's going to slow you down. So you got to look past all this shit. You got to understand that again, time is money. You know, we're busy. We got to make shit happen fast.
Yep.
You know, the quicker we get this stuff done, the sooner we get paid, the sooner we can probably pick up other projects.
Absolutely.
And so for me, it's like, it's just that, you know,
So you're
busy.
saying that you've received criticism because you use a projector on your murals.
Yeah.
And
or even like canvas pieces too.
Interesting. Well, I see the live fast forwards, and you're sitting there with the brush strokes.
Yeah.
But the original tracing, I guess, is what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like kind of like how I said. So like before, it was just a lot of grid work. I'd
Okay.
sit there and just do what I needed to do. It takes time, man.
Oh, yeah.
It takes
Yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah.
And so for me, when you've got 5, 6, 7 commissions in
Yeah.
line,
Yeah.
you don't.
Well, what I'll say, so a friend of mine is a very well respected muralist who I spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
And she posts the projector on her Instagram.
Yeah.
She shows as she's doing, and in fact, she has apprentices that she probably pays, I don't know, $25, $30 an hour to go in and do the inside painting after she's kind of done the big thing. So she's the architect, right?
Yeah.
Right. But then they're the ones kind of like building it, right? And so I don't think that takes away from her creativity or her brand or the quality of her work, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, to try to put it in the best way possible without sounding super petty, but if you think you can do what I can do, then do it. Because like, let's look at my art career, right? So
Yeah.
I think I'm doing well.
Yeah.
If you want to do well as well,
Yeah.
do what I'm doing. But it's not as easy as it. That's the beginning stages, man. That's just an outline.
Yeah.
You got to go in there with a brush, with some palette knives, or if you're doing a mural, like I use a lot of spray cans, then you got to go in there and use cans and know which colors to use, and
Absolutely. Well,
So-
I can relate to some extent. So you look at the company that I've built, right? 40 employees. When I started in 2010, it was just me. And even though I was the best recruiter, I was the best salesperson, I was the best at calculating commissions, if I would have been the one doing all the work, I never would have been able to grow. And so I realized what my superpower was marketing, right? Creating a brand on LinkedIn, right? Blowing up to 50,000 followers there, getting clients that want to come work for us. When I became single in 2019, a buddy of mine was like, bro, you got to get on Instagram, right? I'd never even logged in before. So then I created an Instagram in 2019, and now that's a massive part of my personal identity and my personal brand. But that's kind of my superpower, to where I don't need to be the one brushing the brush, right, with my own hand, because I can train these people how to do it. But what are the people buying? They're buying the brand, if you will. We know that Jeremy has qualified his associates to deliver the quality in which he says that he's going to deliver, right? And I think you and I both know that when you're a business owner, your reputation is worth exponentially more than any number, right? You know what I'm saying? And so don't do yourself a disservice, man. I think, when you fast back down to the mid 90s, I think a lot of golf purists were upset that Tiger Woods was kind of taking the industry by storm, and they had never seen someone that looked like him before, right? And then now you got fucking guys, wearing high water pants, flashy shirts, right? It's like golf has completely evolved because one person challenged the status quo and pushed the envelope, man. And I'm excited to see that you're doing it in Houston, Texas.
Thank you, man.
Awesome. Well, good, man. You're the Tiger Woods
Hey, man, I'll
of
take
Houston
it.
pop art.
Yeah,
I love
man.
that. So I do want to ask you, so what's the biggest risk that you've ever taken in your career, and how did it pay off?
Well, I guess it would just be me leaving my 9 to 5.
What was that?
I used to work at an industrial gas company. Had nothing to do with what I do now. No interest of mine at all.
Oh, well, you use spray cans that have industrial gas now, so you understand the propent that goes in there. Yeah.
That's the closest thing to be relatable.
Yeah.
But but I quit there and I didn't even quit there to do art, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I quit to go to hair school.
Okay.
My friend was she does hair. She had her own salon, and she was basically like, look, I make my own schedule.
Yeah.
I make decent money, this and that. It's kind of a creative thing,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about it, man, but I quit to go to school, and I had been there for like 7 years. Man, I get there and I don't know what the hell I'm doing at all. I mean, I don't even know how to hold a blow dryer, you know what I mean? But that had to happen in order for me to basically, I mean, obviously I had to get a bar back job. That was the only thing, because I had to be at school from basically 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I had to find a night job.
Yep.
I didn't have any bartending service, so I had to be a bar back. And I was 30 years old. I'm sitting there working with 23-year-olds, 22-year-olds, making way more than I was making.
Yep.
And, you have to basically almost struggle, get out of that comfortable level, which what I was doing with the whole,
Sure.
the 9 to 5, and see my bank account fucking plummet and think like, what the hell, I got to do something, and that's what forced me to paint more, and promote it more. And it just, I mean, eventually it just kind of just took off and picked up, and I ended up quitting everything and just focused on
What year
work.
was that?
It was when I quit. Eventually, so after the bar back job, Presley's actually. You know Presley's in the Heights.
Yeah, the two brothers.
Yeah. So Brandon, he gave me a job there as a bartender.
Yeah.
Still didn't know what the hell I was doing.
But to be in a community like the Houston Heights,
Yeah.
where you're being inspired by people's fashion, you're being inspired by their fitness, right? Their social life. Because I've followed you for the last 5 years. You've gotten fucking swole. You've gotten a few more tattoos, right?
Yeah.
Your social network has certainly, exponentially grown. You've met a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
I think having that opportunity and being in that community was a force accelerator for you in your career.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Awesome, man. Well, good. Thank you for sharing that story. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I was like the general manager of a Pizza Hut, and then I worked at CarMax, and then I did HR consulting. I was bouncing around every single year thinking I was the smartest, coolest motherfucker in every room that I was in. And I was so arrogant and so cocky. I go, you know what? I'm going to start a company when I was 25 years old. And it accidentally paid off, man. So, just
You never know. That's the thing.
you never know,
Yeah.
right? But again, I knew what my superpower was, and it was marketing. And even though you're an incredible artist, man, I'll tell you that I see you on your phone. I see you responding to orders. I see you. I see people hyping you up, and you've got to engage with your fans. That's a part of your brand.
Yeah.
But bruh, somebody else could do that shit. Somebody else could be the one behind. You don't think so?
I don't know about that, man. Trust me, I've thought about it.
Yeah.
I've thought about it a lot, man.
Yeah.
And for me, that I think that's one of the reasons why everything has kind of worked out,
Okay.
because it's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I think, it's, I haven't tried it. It's
Yeah.
one thing, right? So that might be something that I need to do just to see, but it does scare me to I might lose, because I know people do want to speak to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
even when it's a personal page or the art page,
100%,
right?
100%. The way that I think I would feel comfortable doing it, right, is, and I'm going to speak from my own personal experience. We're excited to grow, right? I onboarded Jacqueline Valle. These are her credentials. This is what she does. Here's a video of Jacqueline. If you DM the company page, Jacqueline is going to be the one that replies. If you need me, please DM me here. So like speaking it into my followers on those 5,000 views on a story, right? No one feels like you're hoodwinked or anything like that if they, so for me, it's been pretty liberating, and it's allowed me to grow by actually making it public.
That actually, I'm not going to lie, that usually gave me an idea. It makes sense actually when you speak about it like that, because it's almost like you're
elevating, baby.
Yeah, but also it's you have to, not everyone can get a hold of you necessarily, which is kind of a good thing, because then it's like, kind of, it's not easy access.
100%.
Which you become,
Yeah.
So,
And I've seen enough of your rants on Facebook
yeah.
to know that some of this easy access kind of fucking pisses you off sometimes, right? So
100%.
maybe we should get a little throttle there in the middle.
Yeah, we might need to try that out.
Yeah, this ain't gonna make it to Izzy, right? Yeah. So has there been a piece of art in particular that you created where you were initially afraid to share it? What happened when you did?
For me, the latest one was the Trump piece. That one specifically, afraid? No. I'm never scared to share anything that I create shit for a reason, man.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the people who follow me started to realize this with that piece. They thought that the thing is, I'm not even really political, man. I can honestly say that I can take from this person and this person and that person. I think this person does dumb shit, but they also speak facts on this part, so
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I identify as a social liberal, but a fiscal conservative.
Yeah. So, and I think what the problem is, especially with the internet, is they assumed what I was.
Yeah.
And so when I posted the Trump piece, fucking So, just immediately, boom, boom, boom. My followers just drop. Yeah, I lost like 1,700 followers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and I did see, but this is what I mean though. So for me, and I lost a lot more. And I think when they saw that I was kind of being like, I don't know if they thought I was being an asshole about it or something, because I saw when I first initially posted it, I started to see them drop, and I thought it was funny. I don't want anyone who doesn't want to be there. I really don't.
I'm the same way.
So for me, I made a post on my. I did it on my. I made a hard post about this.
On your wall.
And I said for anyone, I think I've lost like X amount of followers already, and I said for the 1,000 follower that I lose, you get a free Trump print, and so that pissed people off.
Yeah.
And so I got way more followers that. So
did any Trump fans come to you because of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yes. I didn't read all the comments and shit like that,
Sure.
but I did see one that stood out, and he's like, well, you gained me as a follower, know? And so, I think, I don't know, and that guy might not like what I post here in the next couple of weeks or some shit, when something pops up. That's the thing, so, but I don't paint for people. I paint for me.
It's funny because you're an artist, right? And there are other variations of art, and I'll say like stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Right. Is an art. It requires creativity. It requires skill, timing, precision. And I feel like comics have even become judged to some extent within today's cancel culture.
Yeah.
And it's like, y'all motherfuckers came here to literally laugh. Right.
Yeah.
But it's weird that everybody is taking everything so literal, man. And I resonate with the unfollows. And then you said, I don't want anyone to stick around that doesn't want to be here.
Yeah.
So one of my associates, Christina Lazari, posted a video on LinkedIn the other day, right? And she's 26 years old. She's new to the camera. She's a little bit like, scared, but she's growing in her confidence behind the camera. And she saw, oh my God, 7 people unfollowed me. 7 people. Freaking out.
Yeah.
Now she doesn't want to post.
Oh, come
right?
on. No.
I open up my phone and I show her, right? Because I went on the nightcap last week, right? And I go, look, I got 45 unfollows this day.
Yeah.
45. Right? And she goes, that doesn't upset you? I go, this is the way that I see it. If I make a post on my story, I get about 4,500 views, okay? 4,500 views, I'm assuming that about 90% of the people, they fuck with me. They like me. 10% fucking hate me. They hate me. They're talking shit. They're forwarding it to their friends. This guy's a fucking prick. He's so pretentious. He's, whatever. That leaves 450 people that hate me. The 45 unfollows, I guarantee 0 of them were the fucking 4,000 that like me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So literally just reduce the haters.
Yeah.
Reduce the haters. Same fucking video post the next day after the 45 follows, 0 unfollows, right? Because you got them off the bus.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you know that. Part of my mission of what we're going to accomplish today is I want to spread the Izzy awareness, right? I love your shit. I think that you have great mechanisms in order to create prints and in order to get your art in the homes of everybody at a very reasonable price, right? But I think that people should know like the character, like who you are as an individual, not just your dating ideas, right? But anyways, hopefully that story resonates with you. They're all haters, dude. It's all good, I promise. Well, good. So can you tell us about a time whenever you felt like you failed as an artist, and what did you learn from that experience?
If I were to be honest, man, I feel like I failed as far as like me as a person. I didn't. It sounds very just me, but I do feel like I was walked all over.
Your relationship last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like the problem.
That was a long distance relationship, if memory serves.
Yeah, for a little while. Yeah. It's for me, what I have found the issue is I tend to get mixed up with what's the word? Where I'm trying to not necessarily just please the person. Maybe that's it. I can't think of the word, but what happens is I like the person so much and I feel like I need to tend to them, and I kind of put myself, like I pushed my stuff to the back.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that I had to go through. And that's what I mean. I feel like I failed myself.
Yeah, you didn't stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You submitted to what she wanted because you wanted her to be happy.
Exactly.
Because I think, and I actually can resonate with the same exact relationship last year for myself. But for me, it was tied to like childhood trauma, right?
Okay.
Like if I make this person happy, then they'll love me.
Yeah.
And my lack of feeling of self-worth or thinking that I'm undeserving of love, I just want you to love me. I just want you to love me. And so you sacrificed maybe some of your own short-term goals and long-term goals, and then what woke you up? Was it friends in your ear?
No, not really. I'm pretty private when it comes to any issues like you know with relationships. So it wasn't really that. It was more just honestly, it was just being fed up eventually. You know what I mean? It for the most part, I'm pretty self-aware about what's going on. I just try to not leave immediately. I think, you know, things can eventually, I feel like things can get worked on, but enough can be enough. And it just was eventually. And I just had to, you know.
I totally get it, man. I went through the same thing back in July of last year. So it's already been a year, and it feels like it was just 2 weeks ago, man. It's crazy. But, so you'd mentioned earlier that you used to want to like fit in. Right. And then now you've taken a complete 180, and now you want to stand out. You want people, whenever they see it, they know that's IR artwork. Right. And so I want to ask you, so how do your tattoos reflect your journey, maybe as an artist or even an individual? Right. Because this is a massive part of your personal identity.
You know, I've always been a fan of tattoos. It's obviously, you know, I think if it's now what I do, back then when I was working the 9 to 5, I had started to get tattoos then. And, you know, my boss was just like, you know, it's cool, just don't go too far and stuff like that. You know, you want to be respectful, I guess, but you're also, you know, you don't work for yourself, you work for someone. So it's just like, you don't want to get fired and this and that. And for me, that's kind of what started it. I like doing shit when I want to do it, and I don't want someone to tell me no, you know. Biggest reason why I had to be my own boss. And so when I quit, the first thing I did was I got this tattoo, but it was lower because I think I was here. So I just ran with it. You know what I mean? And it was almost like, I'm going to do this because I'm not going back.
That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the expression burn the ships?
No.
No? So I might butcher the analogy, but there were these invaders, right? Think about back in like the Crusades years. And so, you know, you're infiltrating this island, right, in order to take it over. Let's just call it like, you know, France or Morocco or something like that, right? And what they would do whenever they would arrive at the beaches is they would burn the motherfucking ships. Because either we're going to conquer this land right here and take over, or we're going to fucking die.
Yeah.
Right?
Same.
So you burn the ships.
Yeah. Same concept, man. And that's exactly how I was thinking about it, because
I'm never going back to corporate America.
Never.
I'll be a hairstylist. I'll be an artist, or guess what? I might shine fucking shoes in Manhattan.
Yeah.
But I'm never going back to corporate America. I'm going to stay true to myself.
Never.
So did the girl want you to go back to corporate America? How did she want to change you?
No, man. She no. It was other stuff.
Understood. Okay.
I'm
not trying to be all dramatic.
No, you're good, man. It had nothing to do with. I've had very supportive, girlfriends, ex-girlfriends when it came to that stuff. You know what I mean? I would never date someone who wasn't supportive of my career. Or anything like that.
I understand that.
No way.
To be quite honest, you attract. At least what I've found is you attract what you want more of in your life, right? And so, right now, as a 40-year-old man, right, I want to feel younger. I want to look younger. I want to be more hip. I want to be more swag. I want to have Riz, right? So like, I'm attracted to girls that have style, that are younger, that are more physically active, because that's what I want in my life. So I would imagine that you would probably attract women where fitness is a cornerstone of their life, right? Because obviously fitness is very important to you.
Yeah.
Somebody that is on board with an urban style, right, is somebody that you're going to attract. You're probably not going to get the partner at Lock Lord Law Firm, right, that's sliding into your DMs, right? Unless she's closet, tattoo girl, urban lifestyle. But then somebody that really admires you and respects you because of your art, right? I would think that that's like your superpower.
Yeah.
That's what you do better than 99.9% of people, right? So that's great that you've identified that. So let's ask you this. So I've asked a lot about like failure, fear, regret. Tell me about a moment of triumph in your career that made all of the sacrifice and struggles worth it. Right? The biggest fucking win, the biggest win that you've ever got. You were eating fucking, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And then you got that direct message from the city of Houston that said, hey, we want to commission you for this entire building. Right. Yeah. And this was going to make your money for the entire year. I don't know. Surely there's a story.
Yeah, there is a story. It was actually around the time that I was like bar backing. Okay. Like I said, man, like I've never had a lot of money in my account back then. It was kind of like just something that I'm very good at saving. But when you've got bills and you're not making the money that you're used to, it starts to go down.
Especially when you're buying all these fucking tattoos.
There you go, right? And no, but that was kind of it's kind of what's crazy because I left my 9-to-5 and I thought that I could live the same kind of lifestyle, which obviously isn't the deal. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And so I don't want to say I was comfortable after I left at the bar back job because I definitely wasn't making enough money. But it definitely lit a fire under my ass whenever I went to deposit some cash. And I thought in my head, I was like, I've got X amount in my account. And I go, and I think it was after a weekend of going out and shit, and I go to deposit some money, and I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? And I was like, and I remember, and I think I specifically sat there in my car on purpose after I deposited the money, and I was like, I need to remember this day. And it was September 1st, 2019. And I remember it like that because it was like 9/01/2019. Like it was all like, and I was like, I need to remember this day because I'm never going to be that low in my account ever again. Mm-hmm. And that day, I don't know if I had work or not, but I think I did have work that night. And I went to work, asked if I could leave early, was slow. I went home and there was this painting. There was a painting that my buddy had bought, my buddy Hunter. He bought the original Biggie, the floral.
Oh, yeah.
He had bought that, but he gave me a deposit, which was half of it, and I hadn't finished it yet. And I had been kind of waiting for some reason. That night, I went home and I fucking like got it done.
All night, baby.
Got it done.
Yeah.
And I did a pre-sale for prints, and I think I sold like 29 or 19 or something like that at $95. So bounced back up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was in the hundreds in my account, right? So I bounced back up a little bit.
As a man in his 30s.
As a man in his 30s.
That's very humbling, right? Because when you're 21, 22, it kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah. And so imagine that, right? Yeah. So 30 years old, I have 2 roommates. None of this matters, but I say it because it's a very like. And the reason I'm saying this is because I did not give a fuck that I had roommates and shit and that I drove a 2010 Civic and stuff like that. Sure. And I think it's important for people to know that because I did not care also being a bar back at 30 because I was doing all this shit to try to be better in life in some sort of way. I didn't know I was going to be an artist full time, but I was going to school, hair school. I was trying to do something different and more in the path that I was creative wise, And I think a lot of people, what happens is that they think, okay, so they're 30, they have roommates, they drive an older car, they have hundreds of dollars in their account, and they're like, I'm failing, like I'm not doing well, or like I can't, like I don't know. Society tells you that you're a piece of shit. It's almost when you're like that. But if you have that mindset, like for me, I was like, I wasn't necessarily scared or anything, but I was just like, this. All right, let me fucking get to work. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. So I did that pre-sale, finished the painting, did a pre-sale. He gave me the other half. He got the painting. that was the first time I ever made prints, and they did really well.
That's
sold
awesome.
that, and that immediate like little kind of shock to my system was what made me start fucking working.
Yeah.
And I started painting more. I started making more prints, commission here, commission there, boom, 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 and it just fucking eventually just took off, man.
So how do you define success as an artist, right? You know, obviously you've got a good social following. You're making enough money to not only survive, but to have a badass Jeep, to have your own home, right? Without those two roommates.
Yeah.
But how do you define success as an artist? And then maybe how has that definition of success evolved over the last 5 years since 9/1/19?
Man, you know, so I think a lot of the times people, just in general, success in general, I think people they attach money to success. For me, back then, whenever I had the roommates, whenever I had the older car, I wasn't sad. I wasn't mad. I was fucking happy. I was content with my life at that moment. I knew my life wasn't going to always be there. And I think that's probably what it is. But I've never wanted to I've never envied someone because they made X dollars and I was here. Because I know the reason I'm not making X dollars because of my own shit.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school, or I tried to, but I quit. So it's like I can't blame anyone but myself. So for me, success doesn't necessarily mean money. It means more so freedom. Obviously, the more money you have, kind of, you know, you get a little bit more freedom, right? I get it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to art, success for me as an artist is the fact that I can create what I want and people will buy it. I don't ever create shit for other people. If you commission me, if you say, hey, I want a Kobe piece, and you tell me I want you to use this color and this and that, I'm going to tell you, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I don't get that.
Yeah.
I get people who send me money, and good money.
Yeah,
And
they
send me good money, and they say, hey, man, I want a Kobe piece. Do your thing.
do your thing, baby.
That's it.
100%.
The only thing we agree on is the image. And to me, that's success, man, because I know there's some artists out there who have all these restrictions and these guidelines and stuff like that. And I couldn't imagine that, because that's not being an artist, man. That's not being a creative. You got to let us do our thing, because that's when we, I mean, you like our stuff for a reason, right? So it's like just hire us and just watch us do our thing. You know, we're going to create some badass shit. Obviously you like it. You reached out to us, right? So for me, man, it's the best thing that I can go back to the studio tonight and just create some badass stuff, post it, and it might not sell tomorrow, but it's gonna sell eventually.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about it, man. That's success for me for sure.
Absolutely. So knowing that when you put those initials in that bottom right corner, that was your creativity, that was your inspiration, that was whatever emotion that you were feeling at that day in that point in time, that came through that brush and ended up on that canvas.
Yeah.
So this question isn't even on the list, but how is AI affecting you, right? Because I could go right now and prompt AI to create this badass fucking image, right? And so how is that affecting your business?
It's not, and it never will. It's and I think that, man, you know, it's a debate that I've had with maybe like two different artists. If you're scared about a computer or a robot doing shit for you, man, I don't know, man, you gotta just be more confident in your work.
Yeah.
You know, people don't hire, you know, and also for, you know, I think if you were to get this whole AI thing to create something for you, I don't necessarily know if you're actually an art fan.
Yeah.
You know,
You might want the art clout,
yeah,
but you are not a real purist whenever it comes to fandom. Yeah.
You know, being an artist and recognizing, for example, I mean, and the thing is, I'm pretty sure, because art can be printed and stuff like that, so they could probably replicate that Kobe piece that's in there.
Even with the brush strokes and all that?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So it could probably do everything.
Wow.
But, you know, I think being a brand, being an entire, maybe for people who just create and post, maybe, you know, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
I show the process.
Yep.
I'm behind the camera. You know, I'm interacting with people and stuff. people, and that's why I mean when we were talking about the earlier thing, we are right for me to hire someone to answer all this and all that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people want to speak to me.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not only they don't just want to buy the art; they want to buy the art from me personally.
I can resonate with that.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, and especially, and I know this especially because when I have the shows, people come. And I don't know who follows me anymore on either or, but you know, I post my dog, I post my mom, you know, my relationship, stuff like that, right? And they come to the show and they ask like, hey, like, how's your dog? How's your mom? Like, you know, so it's almost like it's almost the fact that I'm not a robot.
Yeah.
You know, they know that I'm a human being also, right? It's a guy who's living his life. He has some bad days, he has some good days, he creates cool art. I'm gonna buy from this guy. I'm not gonna buy from that fucking printer over there. You know what I mean? So it's I'm not worried about it, and it's not affecting me.
You know, you walk into the lobby of my office and you see, you know, 40 feet by 12 feet, a huge vinyl piece of art on my wall. Does that offend you that it's vinyl?
No.
You know,
I think there's some things that make sense, right? I'm an artist. I'm also a businessman. I got the Airbnbs and shit like that, right? So I get it. I've considered certain things. Some stuff makes sense. Some stuff doesn't, right?
Yep.
If you're gonna charge, you know, my minimum for a mural is $5,000. You probably, I don't know how much you pay.
Three, maybe.
Three. Okay. Hey man, if you're gonna save money for some, that's. No offense. I mean, that's not art to me. It's just
It looks
words.
cool.
It's just words. No. It doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you would hire an artist to do that.
I understand.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get that printed.
Yeah.
It makes more sense to do that.
Yeah.
You know, that's never going to offend me. If you were to get, because they have that now. I mean, I don't know how much it costs, but I've seen videos of like actual printers that will print a mural. You know, that's a little, get an artist in there.
So in my house, my backyard, big nice pool, guest house on the side, but I have a 12-foot wall, gorgeous brand new wall, and I'm thinking about putting like some type of a plastic polymer over the wall, and putting a big piece of vinyl that's like Houston inspired. So think about like Astros, Rockets, Texans, all the above, Sabercat, you know, because that's my identity. I fuck with it, but like I think that maybe like the weather and the sun will like beat up paint, you know? Not necessarily.
Well, there's ways to seal it. I mean, you can seal it pretty well.
Yeah.
Depending on the colors that are used also.
Yeah.
Like vibrance, like a lot of like neons and stuff like that, those tend to not do so well over time.
Yeah.
But you can always seal it.
Yeah. 12 feet by 50 feet. What do you think for you?
That's how.
That's a big,
12
that's
wide,
a big
50.
wall. 12 tall.
12 tall, 50 wide.
50 wide.
I'll
You gonna give me a number on that?
I'll do it, man. Hey, man, I'm up for the challenge, man.
All right.
I would love to do that for you, man.
It would be sick, dude.
It would be sick.
It would be sick.
Especially being out there by the pool and stuff. We have some pool parties.
Yeah, 100%. Now, the downside is if I ever piss you off, you're going to come with that fucking thing and paint over it.
Hey, as long as you pay for it, we're good, man. We're good, man.
Dude, tell me about that story. What went down?
The Airbnb?
Tell the story.
Man, this shit's crazy. It's a long story, but long story short, just a wrongful eviction, man. We had been there for in the span of maybe a year and 3 months. We had a total of, I want to say, 5 leaks, mold, fucking termites, and the landlord just would not fix shit. And it sucks because after the first leak, he wanted to blame the guests. He hired his plumbers. They came out. They said, no, we think the master bath has a leak. We're going to go in there and fix it. So he's like, okay. So they repair everything in the master bath. A couple months later, another leak. Same areas and shit like that. He's like, nah, it's got to be your guest. I got it fixed. And we're like, He was telling us that the guests were purposely overflowing sinks or the tub. And we're just like.
Purposely.
Okay. And then the plumbers were having his back. And we're like, dude, and then come to find out the plumbers weren't licensed, all this shit. And so they're trying to cover their ass.
Yeah.
And so basically, he kept blaming us. And one of the times that the leaks happened where it was bad enough to where we had to like stop having people in there, it was getting worked on. In that time frame, we were like, well, we're not going to be in there. So, you know, let's pick up rent when it's back up and running.
Yeah.
And he was cool with it, right? Cool with it. That's what he evicted us on. The fact that while it was getting worked on, like 3 weeks, we didn't pay rent, even though he said it was fine.
Sure.
he came back around. He was like, these guys owe me for those 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I want them out.
So this is what I'm gathering, right? Is you had a direct lease from a landlord that you paid a fixed amount of rent per month. And then you put your amazing art inside of the facility in order to draw attraction on Airbnb, VRBO, all the things. Holy shit, this is cool.
Yep.
This is a very Instagrammable short-term rental.
Yep.
So you were able to charge, I'm making up a number, $500 a night whenever it was really only worth $250 because of your swag.
Yep.
Right?
It was doing well.
It was doing, come on. I mean, I got a couple houses. Maybe I need to do this.
Let me know, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. And think about it this way. So the cool thing about it, for one, I don't know any other artists that are I know there's art in Airbnb,
Sure.
but I don't know about artists specifically that run it.
Yeah.
It's my house, right?
Yeah.
So the cool thing about that, if you were to hire me, I know you got some money now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you
He came to my house last week to deliver the painting.
but if we're talking, but see, this is a perfect example because if it might not make sense money wise, and I'm not gonna be mad at you.
Yeah.
If you were to hire me to do murals in there, let's say 3, because I do 3 minimum in the houses.
Yeah.
That's gonna cost you anywhere between $25 to $35K. Mm-hmm. So to get a Airbnb up and running, it doesn't even cost that much.
Yeah.
You know, so, but you know, it could drive in more people to come in and want to stay at that space.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I guess if you got the money, cool. It's better for you in the long run because you'll get more bookings.
Okay.
But for me, all it costs is time.
Yeah.
Right. So everything is still the same, you know, when it comes to furnishing and doing everything you need to do when it comes to opening up an Airbnb. Mm-hmm. But then I have my art throughout the house and the murals, and obviously I'm creating the murals, so it's just my time.
Yeah.
So I can throw up some badass pieces, and you know, I've had people reach out and say, "Hey, like I would love a mural," and I'm like, "Yeah, all right, it's gonna be 8K, 9K." They're like, never mind.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about it because
Sure.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, it only costs.
But when
them,
it's a revenue generator, it does make sense.
yeah, but sometimes, you know, I don't know if they, you know, they probably just think, well, I'll just hire someone else, or I'll just get like some other art, you know.
Yeah. What about the municipal jobs, right? Are you still charging them retail whenever City of hires you for a job?
Yeah, I mean,
It is what it is.
It is what it is, man. For me, it's never a loss. It's never a loss,
sure.
honestly. For me, it's. I mean, I will say, if it makes sense, if I feel like this could potentially lead to other things, you know, I might work with you.
Yeah.
The worst thing, and I will say, for any artist who's listening, don't ever let someone reach out to you saying, do this for free because of exposure.
Yeah.
You do your research and you reach out.
You reach out to them.
Yes, because 9 times out of 10, the person that reached out saying, can I get this for free?
Yeah.
And then X people will see your shit.
Yeah.
It never leads to anything.
Yeah, we're going to host this party. You're going to get a couple of sales, right? It's going to be a unique experience that my friends have never had. You know me, I throw parties all the time.
Yeah.
I don't need anything for free.
Yeah.
Most likely, I'll just commission one right there in front of 50 people and say, "What? Let's all vote on what y'all want."
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
exactly.
know? So,
Yeah.
well, good, man. It's really cool. So, can you share a time? I follow you on Facebook. This is the reason why I know this. Can you share a time where maybe your opinionated nature, right? Just you're overly authentic, which
Yeah.
is a really, really good thing, especially being an independent business owner like yourself.
Yep.
Because the people that vibe with you really vibe with you. But tell me about a time where your overly opinionated nature led to a breakthrough in your work or in your career. How did it help you?
I mean, for example, kind of like the Google murals that I've done, where I've just kind of spoke, not even, the thing is, I don't really speak on it. I kind of just drop like a thing, and then people do their thing in the background, right? So for me, it's kind of like starting the fire almost and just letting it see what it does. But yeah, I mean, every time I post, that's the thing. I try to be as, and I always am. I'm always myself.
Yeah.
And it's whether you like me or not. Like, and I think, but I've always been that way. You know what I mean? At least whenever I started to realize that I wanted to not stand, or when I wanted to stand out necessarily, but me wanting to stand out was me being myself. I was kind of not being myself when I was trying to fit in. And so it took, you know, a little bit of separation from certain people to actually be myself. And I've come to find out that there's maybe a lot of people who are like me, but they're just scared to do it. And I'm not. You know, I don't give a shit if, it's kind of like the Trump thing, right? So I don't care if you don't like it. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm going to do it because I want to do it. Like, I don't think I'm a bad person. You know, like, it's, you know, people can paint you how they want. And that's cool. I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
No, it's very liberating to, there's a book called The Art of Not Giving a Fuck, right?
Yeah,
It sounds like you've kind of adopted, you know, a lot of that a lot of that mentality. So I will tell you that when I got divorced in 2019, I lived a very destructive, selfish lifestyle for about 2 years. Okay. You know, bottle blonde, popping bottles, you know, hanging out with girls that I didn't need to hang out with. And because I thought it would make me cool, I was kind of posting it and documenting it all along the way. And so people kind of developed this narrative of Jeremy's a player. We're not going to take Jeremy serious as a potential dating partner, right? Got a life coach in 2021, started to clean up my act, started to focus on my relationship with my ex-wife, with my kids, with my mom, my brother, my COO, my division president, all these things, right? Elevated my life in so many areas. Started a dating podcast, got a little bit of clout associated with that. Walked away from that, was in a serious committed relationship with a good girl now. And guess what? All these skeletons in my closet were now coming out. Hey, well, did you know that Jeremy did this? Did you know that Jeremy did this? Right? And sure, I had a tremendous amount of guilt, a tremendous amount of shame. Fortunately, with her in particular, I was very, very transparent in the beginning of the relationship, so it wasn't anything she didn't know. But after our relationship, I had a birthday party. It was my 40th birthday party in March of this year. And I decided to throw a roast of Jeremy Jensen. And the reason why is if everybody already knows all the fucking shit, and they know I don't give a fuck that y'all know. In fact, I'm going to record it and put it on my Instagram live, right? Then you can't hold it against me. Right? Jeremy took Ozempic and lost 70 pounds, right? Oh, you know, Jeremy got a hair transplant. Oh, you know, like, this is normal shit. Yeah. I'm leveling up, guys. I don't need to carry guilt or shame, right? This is the real fucking me. Yeah. You know, and I've got a big stack of fucking proof that I am who I say I am. And that's really what's been liberating for me in my life. So, anyways.
I agree, though, man. I think one of the best things, I mean, you can't hold anything against me.
Yeah.
You can't. You can try. And I wish it would happen more often in person. Yeah. Because there's something about it being online that pisses me off. Because the way that
keyboard warriors.
The way that I would embarrass you in person, though, right? So like you try to be funny, you know, say some shit online, and it's like, man, the people who know me, you know. 100. But now there's this person, this random ass person who wants to drop this little thing in there, and it's just like, all right, man. Yeah. So I've learned to you know, there's people that are going to try to get a rise out of you. Yeah. You know, and I you know, in the very beginning stages, whenever I was, you know, becoming full time and seeing all this shit, that's how I knew things were going viral. Was when you would get that random person that would say some shit, and you're just like, oh, it's going viral, and I'll be like, great, more people are seeing it now. But there's always someone who's gonna say some shit. It's kind of like the thing with the projector. Yeah. Look, man, if you feel that way, great. Call me a fake artist. I don't give a shit what you want to do. I'm making real money. You know what I mean? I don't really care, man. It's like, and I always kind of go back to that, man. If you think it's so easy, you should do it. I'm living a great life. You should do it. You know, I'll support you. You know, you can hate all you want, and I'm gonna be a fan of yours if you want, man. Yeah. But
I don't even engage with the haters anymore. I say thank you for your feedback is what I say. Yeah. Thank you. And they hate it.
Boosting the algorithm,
man. They hate it. Yeah. Thank you for your feedback, right? But I've learned that, like, my emotional piece is way more valuable than me needing to be right all the time. I don't know. Maybe that's like a dad, you know, thing. But so I want to ask you, so what's a lesson that you've learned maybe from a mentor in your life that's really stuck with you throughout the years?
When I used to paint from my place, because I just got a studio. It's only not even been a year, but I used to paint out of my apartment. I like to, for one, I like to dress nice,
This was in front of the window, the glass window.
Exactly. I like for my place to be clean. It's my place. I'm not going to dirty up my fucking place. Sure. But I was painting out of my place. There was a photo that I posted, and I kind of do people probably picked up on it now already, but it's helped me, I think. And my girlfriend says this all the time. It's like when you add yourself to the videos or to the pictures, it helps because the way you look, they put two and two together. If you're out in public, they can notice you and they can say hi, whatever, right? Yeah. Again, you want to be involved. I don't want to be a robot. I don't want to just paint something and post it. Anyway, so there was a photo that I posted. It was a finished product, and I was in the corner of it, like signing it. I had some shoes on. They were some new shoes. This guy was like, look, he's commented on it. He was like, the easel doesn't even have any paint on it. His shoes are too clean. There's nothing on the floor. This guy's a fake artist or whatever. Right? And so, yeah, for me, I was just like, it's crazy how people just like, and it's like I have a whole fucking page of art that I've created.
Yeah. Live fast forward art. Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, I posted it maybe like 4 months after I got the studio, and I'll do it from because people remember it because I did post a screenshot of it, and I was like, let's talk about this for a second, but I maybe like 4 months into when I got the studio. I just trying to be funny or whatever, and I posted like just thinking about that one guy who said I was a fake artist.
And that was a caption?
And it's like my whole fucking studio. And I'm just like, man, people just straight me out. But basically, it's just like I've learned though to just let people talk, man. Feeding into that energy would just it fucks your mood up, man.
100%.
You know what I mean? And you can't win it all. It's kind of like it helps you be more authentic and makes you without having to worry about who the hell is gonna like be mad or whatever.
100%. So you said something. You said it fucks your mood up, and I'll tell you. I have social influence on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. I have some social influence on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on TikTok, but I get some haters that fuck my mood up. Mm-hmm. Right. And so when I've watched some of the dating podcasts that you've been on, right, I've been on some of the same ones, but they ask questions on like, what value can a woman bring to a man? And I think that women often think that it's financial. Mm-hmm. But from my personal experience, I don't need somebody's financial contribution, me, right? Mm-hmm. What I need is them to make sure that I'm in a good mood all the time.
Yeah.
Me personally. Shit happens at the office with my employees, with my clients, with my candidates, right? My kids, right? With, something happening on the fucking car and it costs $6,000 to replace the fucking brakes on a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? So the last thing that anybody wants me to be in is a bad motherfucking mood. Mm-hmm. So I think that women need to understand what is your partner looking for, because every guy is different. What you need is very different than what I need, is what is very different than what Balake needs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so the point that I'm making is we need to become better communicators to identify what are the gaps in our life, who has the right qualities that can fulfill those gaps and not only complete me, but like elevate me to some extent, right? I don't need a bigger house or a faster car. What I need is emotional security and peace, right? And so tell me how your girlfriend makes you better.
Man, it's crazy, man. I don't even know if you know the story.
I don't know the story.
It's so I met her through TikTok, but
she was fangirling on your art, or was that the way?
No, not even. Okay. It was my. So you don't have TikTok.
Yeah.
I've probably posted a couple on my story,
sure.
Like because on my personal page it's more lifestyle stuff. Mm-hmm. But on my TikTok I share the same thing, and it was basically me moving into my new spot.
Cool.
And it went viral or whatever, and she commented on it. She was like, "There's no," because she lives in Denver.
Yeah.
She's like, "No guys like, where are the guys like this in Denver?" And I was like, "Come to Houston."
Hey.
And it kind of just started this thing, right?
Yeah.
But man, so like we dived into some deep conversations pretty quick, and it was like just really refreshing, man. She's a business owner, mm-hmm. And so I think one of the biggest things, like I don't remember what that topic was, but that I commented on, it was that reel, mm-hmm. and it was about financials almost, right?
Okay.
And that's a big thing that I love to debate on. because it's very interesting to me, man. It's very interesting, especially now with how like things are with like dating. I think I don't date like a lot, man. I really don't. I just sit in the background. I always kind of just wait for things to happen, and that's kind of what happened with my girlfriend. But you know, it's a very important conversation to have, I think, early on, because you want to know where people stand with that stuff, right? There's women who just want to be just
taken care of.
Yeah. And I feel like even if I had the financials to do that, I wouldn't want to. It's a very interesting thing, because to me it seems like a father and a daughter.
100%.
It seems very like and you know, me and my girlfriend had this conversation a lot, because like the first time we actually met, because we had been like texting and FaceTiming, and then I went out to Denver and we went to Red Rocks, right? And I the thing is I want to provide, but I don't want someone to be like, first things first, I don't want to pay for anything. You know, it's such a weird way to start.
100%.
You know? Like so I want to treat you to nice things and all that, right? But so we went to Red Rocks, and we go to this little restaurant before and have some drinks and stuff like that. And I get up and go to the bathroom. I come back, and I think I asked for the bill or something like that. And she's like, hey man, she's a keeper.
She got it.
Yeah. And I was like, why did you do that? You know what I mean? And she was like, kind of like fighting me on it or whatever. And I was like, well, thank you. Obviously, you know, I appreciate it. Like, and she's not bullshitting. That's how she is. Yeah. Like, I've had to do that a couple of times where I'm like, I have to tell the bartender or whatever, give me the bill before I go to the bathroom, because he's going to the bathroom before we leave, because she will pick it up. Yeah. And it was a little fight, like a little back and forth for a little bit. But what I realized, and she made me realize this, is like, she's like, look, I work hard for my stuff. You're my man. Just like you want to treat me, I want to treat you. You know, I don't want you to feel like we can figure it out how and when I pay, I guess. But when I say I want to treat you, let me. And it's something that I'm not necessarily used to having to fight someone on it. Yeah. But it's a really cool feeling, you know, because I do got it. I can get it. Yeah. But she also does, and she wants to.
And like you said, right? Like, she's an entrepreneur herself. Yeah. And so she's not, you know, riding some 180K corporate salary where she can take 6 weeks of paid time off and she's still going to get paid, right? The point is she knows how much blood, sweat, and tears she puts into what she does, which gives her a tremendous amount of empathy into seeing you work your ass for what you do, right? Yeah. And so for her in particular, just the fact that you got on a plane, sacrifice your time, right, for that week or however long, when you could have been creating revenue in your studio. Think about all the sacrifices that you made just in order to get to her. Yeah. She probably felt not the need to or the obligation to, but she wanted to treat you. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time, because in your business, time is money. Yeah. Right. And so, man, that's amazing, dude. Is she still in Denver, or is she here now?
She's in Denver.
Yeah. So I saw a video on Instagram that a buddy had forwarded me, and it was a guy, and he was like, brother, you should not see your girlfriend more than twice a week. And what he was explaining is that distance makes the heart grow fonder. Yeah. Right. If I see somebody every day, I don't miss them. Yeah. I don't develop this excitement of like thinking about them and the fantasy aspect of it and the passion and the connection that when you start as friends, really, right? And y'all were flirty and y'all were, you know, I'm sure, but you bred that connection that was real and authentic, that was not muddied by that physical connection. Yeah. Right? That's what made the heart grow fonder, right? Yeah. So that's awesome to hear that, man.
Thank you.
I hope it works out. Please don't fucking move to Denver. I know it's cool, but I want you here, brother.
I'm moving out there.
Oh!
Yeah. No, I literally just posted about it yesterday.
Damn it, I haven't seen it.
I sent in my deposit for the moving company.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I need some change, man. I appreciate being, recognized as, local Houston artist, but
Yeah.
I want to be international, man. I want to,
Yeah.
I was in Vancouver and kind of did my thing with the art out there, and that solidified it for me. Kind of like the fact that I can actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to go there. I want to go to Mexico for 3 months next summer. I want to just travel and paint, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah, the cool thing about what you do is you can create anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just like me, right? Like, my 40 employees are on the phones, right? These relationships are not forged in person. And so I can make just as much money in DC or LA as I can here in Houston. What I get in Houston, because my friends, they ask me all the time, they say, why don't you travel more? And this is what I tell them. I say, if I go out in Miami, I'm nobody. Right? Just to get any level of attention at all, I got to drop 20 grand at the club, right? And then that's not even really the attention that I want. I'm competing against fucking billionaires, right? When I go out in Houston, people fucking know me.
yeah.
Right? I'm getting free drinks, right? I'm getting people that want to take photos, right? And that breeds like my confidence, right? Because as men, we all have egos, right? But I don't necessarily know if I have the desire to go and restart in Denver, right?
See,
because
that's what I want.
Okay.
That's what I want. That I crave that. I crave to be, I'm standing out, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going to be the new guy in Denver.
Yeah.
No one knows who the fuck I am. It's a challenge, and I love that shit
Yeah.
because I know I'm gonna make it. Like I will make that shit happen anywhere.
I get what you're saying.
Guarantee
yeah,
it.
it's the vigor. It's when you said about success, right? Because it is hard to benchmark what success is, especially as an artist, right? Because Van Gogh did not die as a wealthy man, right? And now you look at his art and it's some of the most valuable, globally. But the point that I wanted to make is it's really the challenge in proving to yourself that you could pull off maybe that anxiety is really what's fueling you, and you conquering that anxiety and proving to yourself that you could do it. And then once you do it, that's going to bring you to Vancouver.
Yeah.
And when you do it in Vancouver, that's going to bring you to Nashville. Right. But there's so many of these young, fun, hip cultures that are very pop infused, where they're a little bit old, they're a little bit stale. The art scene isn't where it needs to be, right? Maybe you wouldn't be as cool in Austin.
Maybe.
But I'll tell you, in fucking Denver,
and I won't know until I try, right?
I know.
And see, and that's the thing.
Yeah. Well, good. So it's awesome that you've been able to find a great partner that gives you love in the way that you need to receive it, right? Not just through her words and her physical attraction, but her actions, right? What's one piece of advice that you would give to someone that's struggling to find the right partner?
I think way too many people are just trying to find it. And I think people are just getting impatient, even though they've probably been single for a while or whatever. The thing is I don't know. It's the more you work on yourself, the more you kind of how you were talking about, we tend to attract what we want and what we are.
Yep.
So, stop doing the same shit. Maybe, stop going to McIntyre's if those aren't the people, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Stop.
100%.
You have to change settings. You have to change circles or do whatever you need to do to get to the person that you
100%.
want. And I think people are just stuck in their ways and they're expecting different results. And it's like, stop. You know what I mean? Stop. Like for me, I don't go out too often anymore. And it's like, all I do is work out and just chill at home, whatever. And it's, and how did I meet my girlfriend? Through TikTok.
Yeah.
And it was because I made a video of me being at home. And it was just, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, man. For me, it's, work on yourself really is what that advice is. Work on yourself or you can't keep doing the same shit.
You have to work on yourself because you attract what you are, right? If you're just rich, you're going to attract girls that just want rich.
Yeah.
Red motherfucking flag, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I just to add to that too, though, I feel like the expectations are very high.
On what?
On I don't know if it's vice versa, man, but it's just the stuff that I see and or hear just with men, you know?
I don't hate it though, because I have it, right? So like,
yeah, but have you always had it?
so I got married when I was 25 years old. I didn't need to be rich back then, right?
Yeah.
I just had to be a good person. You know, she married me for my ambition and that I was going to be a great father to her children. I was honest, I was kind, I was genuine, and fortunately I achieved my potential. So I didn't always just have it, but you got to remember, you flash back to 2009, we didn't have fucking Instagram.
Yeah.
We didn't have the age of comparison. We didn't have Tinder, Hinge, Bumble.
Yeah. Well, see, for me, it isn't. I mean, obviously, I have a girlfriend now, but like, it's never bothered me because I'm not going to even entertain a girl that is that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's more so like me saying, these girls are probably missing out on some good guys. And it's all because, you know, they walk into relationships with a checklist.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. Like, we want what we want, but there has to be some sort of like wiggle room or something.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of the conversations that I had with my girlfriend. It was the fact that, like, you know, as an entrepreneur, as you know, things can happen. I can hurt my arm and not be able to paint or have slow months. You know, I need to know that if, you know, that doesn't happen, but let's say it does, you're not going to leave me because I can't buy this or buy that. And she's like, I don't give a shit about any of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that's what men are scared of. You know, men are like, damn, like she likes me for just my money. If something happens, she's on to the next one.
Yeah.
And that's how women make it seem too, though.
Yeah.
Scary thought, man. For me, it's just like, I'm not going to play that game.
That's why it's important to catch a woman with whatever your superpower is, right? You know, my superpower, where I'm the most elite person whenever you look at single men, it is not my money. There's dudes with bigger motherfucking boats, bigger houses, and faster cars, right? My superpower is my ability to communicate, right? My self-awareness, my inquisitive nature, right? The fact that I can reverse engineer success by saying, what do I want? And implement the mechanisms in my life in order to secure it, right? The fact that I can provide financial security to your children and my children, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
But if you can fuck with somebody that has the ability to have deep, meaningful conversations, that has a good reputation, right? That's who I want to attract.
Yeah, absolutely,
awesome.
Man.
Well, man, thank you for coming out today.
Thanks for having me, man.
We've gone over an hour because we had basically a dating podcast and an art podcast.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, man, that I'm proud that I got to know you a little bit better, and I'm proud to be an owner of your original artwork now, and absolutely. I'm excited to host that party, brother.
Same, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.